Hello, I'm Leanne Williams, and in today's episode we look at small things. Really, really small things. What exactly is the buzz about nanotechnology, and how can something that small impact on our current lifestyles? Let's see.
My name is Dr. Bowman Maharaj. I'm a medical doctor by profession, now dabbling in nanotechnology, and as we get to know more what nanotechnology means and what nanotechnology does, you'll be able to appreciate why somebody from the health environment has got a particular interest in the application of nanotechnology.
The silicon dioxide, the technology behind it is based on what one sees in nature already. For example, the leaf of the lotus flower, or the nasturtium plant as well. Butterfly wings also have the same protective coating. Also dung beetles exhibit the same protective coatings. So what happens is the leaf of the plant, it has a particle, or it has a natural coating which protects the leaf from pollutants or sand or anything that's going to inhibit photosynthesis.
One of the reasons also why it works on the leaves like this is because of the surface tension in the water. If you take a single droplet and you put that on top, you can actually see it forms a round ball. Now water would naturally want to contain itself in the most perfect shape to balance. So that helps a lot when it tries to roll off. What does happen is you can take that and you can try and break the surface tension, and you'll eventually find that it does go flat on the leaf, and then it's more difficult for the plant to clean itself, which is why our technology is water repellent technology.
Our specific interest in nanotechnology is focused on surface applications, surface application technologies, and this is the chemical side of nanotechnology, and those surfaces applications contain mostly, for the most of it, silicon dioxide. It's really silicon, which is the important ingredient of the products that we use, of liquid glass, and it's made from the Earth's quartz, and glass is obviously also made from sand in the Earth's quartz. So it's an environmentally safe, naturally occurring product without any harmful effects on the environment or on human beings for that matter. Within any environment becomes a significant industrial application. On wood especially outside, with the water repellents, the wood will be completely protected from penetration by rain, will be self-cleaning. As you can see, the one side that's treated is quite obvious compared to the untreated side.
Self-cleaning effect behind surfaces that are treated with this technology in fact becomes self-cleaning, because any dust that will be on the surface will be collected and it will actually roll off and clean the surface. So there's a self-cleaning effect there. We
will effectively be trading, dealing and introducing nanotechnology products into the South African and African environment in terms of its very positive effects on the nature, on health, buildings, and the positive effects on the environment as a whole. So we intend introducing into the South African market a significant number of new products on a regular basis that can be applied in everyday life, in industries, and wherever people might find a need for it.
This is just sandstone that has been treated. Now you cannot see where it's been coated, and in fact the line between where it's been coated is nearly invisible. To show, here you actually make it visible in terms of what has been created. When you look at that, you can actually quite clearly see what has been coated. So the porosity of the surface is not important whatsoever. You can imagine this would be dust maybe on the window of a car, or even on a table outside, and we've just got some sand there just to show how, because the balls of liquid actually run off the surface, it picks up all the dirt particles and actually runs away with it. And this would happen automatically while you're sitting watching TV and it's raining outside. In fact, this technology will be cleaning itself on your windows.
The same way that nature cleanses its own plants and in certain instances other living organisms, so do our products attempt to do the same thing. And they certainly, the surface coating protection products certainly achieve the same result. And it provides cleansing properties without having any negative impact on the environment.
Nanotechnology in the motor vehicle industry is another product that we have, where a nano coating, it's an invisible coating applied to the inside of an engine. The moving parts of an engine will renew that engine completely. So a worn out engine with all its impurities after many years of driving will be completely recoated permanently to almost a new state. So it's an engine renewal or engine reconditioner in a bottle. So your old vehicles need not be taken off the road if the engine is working, as long as the body is functioning, and that can be applied to gearboxes. It's been tested in ships' engines and has been tested in the gears of big wind turbines. We've got a couple of textile items here. There's a piece of bandage that we've applied the silicon dioxide to.
The argument about porous surfaces or surfaces that are rough, you don't have to have a smooth surface for the technology to work. Here you're talking about a bandage that is actually very, very rough.
This side of the shirt is not treated. And you can see the water on the shirt there. You can see the shape, as Peter said, it's a flat surface. And it's associated to the shirt. This is the side that's treated. You can see this. You can immediately see this difference in the shape. And if I do that, oops. Can you imagine walking in the rain? This is what happened to you in the rain, as opposed to that getting wet.
Soaking out through.
And the texture of the shirt is exactly what it was, like it was before it was applied.
You can even keep your refreshments in your pocket.
Okay, in this particular instance, we treated kitchen towel, so it's paper, and this is just being used to mop up the table, so that's quite safe. That's what it looks like when it is wet, and that's untreated. This one has been treated, and water once again just beads off, showing how water repellent the surface has become. So it just forms beads and it doesn't ever penetrate the surface at all. So that's very much like the notice here. These demonstrate, over the fabric and the paper, demonstrates that the coating is breathable. So you can use it to cover organic and inorganic surfaces. It's flexible, and that's how come the bandage was able to use it to stretch. So that's just to give you an idea of the range of coatings of surfaces that can be treated with the coatings.
Nanoferrofluids. And a nanoferrofluid is the only magnetic fluid you would find. To prove that it contains nanometal particles at about 10 nanometers big, you can see the collection of those ferrofluids. And the application obviously is that we can use ferrofluids in water to purify water using this kind of effect. It is highly magnetic. And in real life, ferrofluids are used in the purification of water. It's used to seal hard drives of computers, together with paints applied on aeroplanes that can make them invisible to radar. And very importantly, ferrofluids can be used in the treatment of cancer. Because as I said, these ferrofluids, or these particles, are about 5 to 10 nanometers big. A cell, the human body cells, are between 7,000 and 10,000 nanometers big. And if you can get in ferrofluids exposed to changes in the magnetic field, they heat up, and inside of a cancer cell, that would heat up to more than 47 degrees, and at above 47 degrees, any cell, particularly cancer cells, will be destroyed. And to find a way to get this into a cancer cell as opposed to into a normal cell has been quite exciting in the sense that only cancer cells contain receptor sites for the hormone called folate, which you don't find in normal cells. So the answer therefore is to coat your nanoparticles with the hormone folate, creating a little Trojan horse, or introduce it into the system. It will seek out only the cancer cells, because the cancer cells who've got the receptor sites for folate won't go into normal cells, apply the magnetic fields or even heat, infrared light to the ferrofluids, and it will destroy them. This is what we call nano sand. That sand under the glass is completely waterproof. If we remove all of the water, we need to just push that down, it will go to the bottom of the glass. But if you remove the water, what you'll find at the bottom will still be sand.
So just to show that the sand is actually chosen the fastest route to the bottom because it's hydrophobic, so that's why it's clinging together, and which is why it's created what looks like loads of little worms. Now, just to prove that the sand is in fact still dry, I'm going to use a teaspoon, and you can see it. You can actually move the sand around. And I'm going to dish up some sand, and in fact it's still powder. So each molecule of sand has been coated with liquid glass, and each molecule is in fact now ironically coated with itself, but in a nano format. So the sand is actually more hydrophobic than it used to be.
What we have here is also something very quite exciting that can be applied in the agricultural environment. Let's see.
And that's ordinary water.
That's water that we add into the powder. And within the next couple of minutes, all that water will be captured and will form a gel. So the application in terms of what we call our water aggregator, as you can see, it's really forming a gel at the bottom. And all that water will become captured in this matrix of a gel.
And the beauty is that the plant will only use as much water as it requires at any given point in time. The balance of the water will be retained in the jar, where it's absorbed.
Something else that's possible in nanotechnology is what's called our electronic protect, which is basically a nano oil, or it's got an oily consistency to it. We can take this oil and just use an ordinary paintbrush, and we can merely just brush over any form of electronics that you want to protect. And it coats over everything that's conductive, and it won't damage the phone. But what it will do is create a thin layer of nano coating in between the electronic device, conductive surfaces, and anything that's trying to penetrate it. So this could be water vapor in the air that will naturally try and corrode metal, or even if you could drop it to the bottom of a pool. Nothing, still working. Now the thing that's amazing about this coating is the fact that any surface that has been treated, this and that, normally, because the coating is non-conductive, you would think that when you put these together, in fact, it won't actually convey electricity. But the coating is actually intelligent. What it does is that when two parts that are conductive come into contact, when they squeeze together tightly enough, the coating allows for electricity to conduct through it. But when you undo the thread, in this case, the coating automatically closes itself. So it's a dynamic, intelligent coating that closes over the areas that haven't been protected against. So what I'm going to do is just put this together, and then for demonstration purposes, which just put it into water like this, so that every part that is supposed to be conductive is getting wet.
In studio today, we have with us Peter and Simone from Nanoland. Peter, welcome to the show.
Hi, Leanne, it's good to be here.
And Simone, it's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Leanne. Same here.
So Peter, can you tell us more about Nanoland and what you do there?
Sure. Nanoland is made up of a group of professionals from very different backgrounds, and we were all concerned about the direction and all this current status of the African continent and all the socioeconomic issues. And we decided to come together and see if we were able to come up with better solutions. So we looked at different types of industries, different types of technologies, and we felt that nanotechnology as a general term really seemed to have the most promise. And the Nanoland itself is now in the form of a company, so that we can monetize the company, so we can actually do outreach and go out there and actually make a difference. My position at Nanoland is product manager, so I deal with everything in terms of technical, how to apply it, make sure the product works, make sure the right product is applied to the right solution. And Simone deals with everything marketing and PR related.
And Simone, what is the appeal of nanotech products?
Nanotechnology is very green technology and environmentally friendly. Some of our coatings are very effective in reducing water usage. Also, it eliminates the need for harmful detergents that impact on the environment. There's also social implications. So in hospitals, for example, we have antimicrobial coatings, which it prevents hospital-acquired infections. So that's quite a big factor. It's got economic implications as well for industry and businesses. And the fact that it's invisible, people can't see it. Nanotechnology is invisible to the naked eye. So that's quite a good property when people don't want to change the look and feel of their surfaces, but protecting it at the same time.
And Peter, please tell us more about the products that you have.
Sure. Liquid glass is one of our products. It's basically a liquid glass that you can spray onto a surface. So the surface then have the properties of glass, easy to clean, oil repellent, water resistant, those kind of things. And another product is something called a photocatalytic coating, which you can also apply to glass, or even they apply it onto paints or even stones, bricks. It's activated by sunlight. So it reacts with any organic material, like dust or bacteria that's on the surface, kills that, breaks it down into smaller particles, and then all you need is just wind or rain to wash it off. So self-cleaning. We've also got something called heat barrier fluids. That it's basically like insulation that you have in a house. It comes in a spray paint format. You apply it on any surface, and it'll actually stop heat transfer by 40%. So it works like insulation. Another product we have is something called Revitec, which is a chemical that you add into your oil in your car, for instance, and it completely renews the inside of your pistons or your cylinders, so as if your car is brand new. And in some cases, if you bought a new car, it actually makes it even more efficient than it was before, which is very important, I think, with this CO2 tax law that's come in. If people can just add this into their cars, they can even be exempt from paying that. And just another product I'm thinking of now is something called a water accumulator, which is in the form of like a salt, and you mix it with water, and it expands to about 20 times its size, which means that if you mix it with soil, you can put it in the ground, and you can potentially grow plants in the desert environment where there's very little water.
Now, I am fascinated by what's in front of us here. Please, can you tell me what this is?
Okay, Leanne, this is the Nano School Box. It's an educational toolkit which contains various materials to conduct experiments. The experiments are meant to display some of the remarkable properties of nanotechnology. This is something which would be very useful for young people in general, but also just to create awareness actually at all levels about nanotechnology, and also to make it fun, for kids. So just to sort of pinpoint just a few of the products we have here, or materials. Okay, what I'm holding up here is silica sand. Now, we've mentioned liquid glass coatings before. Basically, the base constituent of liquid glass is silica sand. So this is the second most abundant constituent in the Earth's crust. So it's a renewable resource, and therefore it's environmentally friendly, and it's not harmful to the environment. And then this is a rock crystal, which is the quartz crystal, and this is where the silica sand comes from. So that's just to give you a little background about liquid glass coatings. Okay, here we have a fire protection
that you can play around with. What this does, it retards fires from spreading. So if you coat this on a piece of fabric or paper even, it will combust and it will turn to carbon, but it won't actually produce a flame. So that's pretty neat. Then we have a textile coating as well. If you apply this to textiles, the textile actually becomes hydrophobic or water repellent, in other words. So the nice thing about this one is that it actually displays the fact that liquid glass is breathable and flexible. So textile, even if you can move the fabric, the coating doesn't get destroyed in the process. Okay, then we have a coating for wood and stone. Okay, once again, this is just a few coatings that we can provide, but we actually have coatings for any type of surface. So just so you know that. The wood and stone coating also offers protection, and it's an invisible protection as well, so it doesn't change the look or feel of the surface. And I think, as Peter might have mentioned, the surface becomes water repellent, easy to clean, and there's a host of amazing properties that the protection offers the surface.
That's wonderful. This is a very, very good resource.
Yeah.
And lastly, Peter, why do you think it's important to expose scholars to nanotechnology?
Well, I think that, as we understand, there's a lack of scientists or people interested in science in this country, especially because of the brain drain that happened in the last few decades. And I think if we want to move forward as a nation, we've got to look at advanced technology or new advanced solutions like nanotechnology. The school box will be very important in terms of gaining the interest of young kids again, because a lot of nanotechnology is actually quite magical in terms of the experiments, and I think it'll work very well in terms of reinvigorating the interest in science, and we could potentially apply that science to real problems that we have today and come up with really progressive solutions.
Wonderful. Peter, Simone, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been very, very enlightening. Thank you so much.
Thanks, good to be here.
Thanks, Leanne. Thanks for having us.
Clearly, the saying, small things amuse small minds, is not always true. I can't wait to get my hands on some of the nano products that will be hitting our shelves very soon. Till next time, take care.